You wanted a SLAY? Well, today's the day. Asked and answered. It's the pre-build you've been looking for. Good afternoon and welcome to Turbo Tortoise Tech. I've got an Evetech SLAY. Everybody was asking for this. Well, a couple of people on the channel wanted to see a build in this case to see what Evetech SLAY is about, if it's truly a refreshed all new case. And I'm very pleased to announce it actually is. It's got some pretty high-end features for a case of this price, like vertical GPU mounting. As an example, there's actually a 3-slot vertical GPU mount on this case. Pretty cool, right? Never mind its full glass swing door, which I have to say is quite nicely executed. Hinges over there to take it on and off, and some pretty serious magnets in it too. It's got a power supply shroud. It's got pretty decent routing with decent holes and stuff in it. I would have liked a Garrett or two, especially in the top side. I think a Garrett or two there would just make it look a little bit cleaner, but everything was where I wanted it to be. And honestly, it was one of the most hassle-free building experiences of my life. And I'm actually going to use that as a kind of like I'm going to use that later for a bit of content where I'm going to talk you through my building process. But it was super easy to work around. Spacing and clearance was good. I didn't run into any issues with anything pretty much. Even the motherboard mount, which can be sometimes a little bit finicky, was pretty straightforward and kind of neat, everything considered. The front side as well is set up for 280mm cooling as well as a full 360, and then on top, similarly, you can do 140s on the output as well. So the big attraction of 120 versus 140 is going to be the airflow that you can achieve with the RPM. So you're going to be able to run a lower RPM fan. The back fan is also dimensioned for 140, so there's like little holes around the outside for it to be able to take that. So it's quite forward thinking in this case. Even the front, I mean, if you look at it from the front, it's a solid plastic piece up front, but there's vents running all the way down both sides, and then there's a hole at the bottom, like quite a big hole. No mesh or anything on that, so dust is going to come into the system, but there's more than enough space for fans to be able to pull air without it running into any real cooling issues, just on the face of things. And then you do get the RGB strips in front and the RGB fan at the back, which is all daisy chained onto the same connector, which you could then put into your motherboard. This A320M-K is very entry level and it doesn't have any of that sort of functionality. The idea with this build though is to show you one of the very entry level pre-builds that you can buy, that you could slap a 3050 into and get some pretty decent gaming performance. So for the couple little benchmarks that I did do, you could see Firestrike, we got just over 13,000. Time Spy did take a bit of a knockdown to a 5K, but it's kind of expected with a little 4650G. It's not really pulling a lot, especially with this being a single DIMM, 8 gig DIMM as well. So don't forget, if you do an upgrade on your memory to the dual channel, you're gonna get quite a bit more performance, which I'm actually going to show you in another video with this exact build. I'm going to take my dual 3200 megahertz kit, or my CL16 3200 kit, and put that into the system. At the moment, everything you're seeing is with a single 8 gig DIMM, and it's not just the memory capacity, it's the fact that it becomes dual channel, and then you get extra bus width and extra speed, and we're reducing latency as well. So the performance gains for that video are going to be probably quite significant. Just on the face of things, even ran Metro at a decent level with medium settings at 66 frames per second with a little 3050. This is a $7 grand graphics card or less. I think on the bundle price, I think it's 7K, exactly that. So you're getting proper little RTX features that you can actually get some DLSS performance out of on AAA titles with none of the 14,000 Rand sort of tax. It's like half the price of that. They're kind of cool and kind of nice. The SLAY as well is absolutely perfect for these kind of mid-range builds. It's got everything in all the right places. I mean, there's even magnetic mesh on top for you to be able to remove and dust that. The IO panel as well has got some nice little upgrades. They've put an LED button separate from the reset button, so you can keep your reset button and then still have the LED control based on the case's side, which has a couple of modes. I think it's got about 20 modes that you can cycle through in different colors and stuff. USB 2.0 on the front with a headphone jack and a mic jack, and then a USB 3. It's nicely finished. Even the A320M-K, it's not the best motherboard EU, but it does have VGA and HDMI output. So if your graphics card fails at any point, you can still carry on using your system because the little G series processor has a little APU on it. Isn't that just convenient? The case itself isn't in the system configurator yet, so I've just spec'd with the Aries, which is basically this, just narrower. But even with that considered and with getting the upgraded memory, for a system like this, you're looking at about 17,000 Rand, and that's pretty competitive for something that can actually play pretty much any game at 60 FPS. It will run most games at, well, you're not going to max out settings, especially in PC breakers like Metro Exodus. You're not going to be able to max out your gaming, but to get 60 FPS at a decent graphical level, and I mean things like CS where it gets an average of 241, if you wanted to attach a 144 Hz to it, it's going to run pretty nicely. But like I said, this is the first piece of content that I'm going to be doing on this case. The next piece is I'm going to be actually showing you my build process and explaining that, which is going to be about a 5 to 10 minute video of me explaining how I go about building a machine to be efficient, especially with your time, and then obviously your cable routing and that sort of stuff, so you can get a nice clean looking build. And then what I'm going to do with this case is show you, even on the entry level, how much different just doing that memory upgrade is. And I mean, if I do the quick maths on it, it's less than 10%. It basically works out to probably about 7.5% of your overall system cost can give you like 10 to 15% worth of performance increase. So until next time, hope you guys stay safe, keep well, and I will see you on the flip side.